Hey everyone, my name is Wright. How are you? I want to welcome you to the California Real Estate Show. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, and I'd like to share this week's real estate market update for the United States, California, and Orange County, California market. So let's get started, shall we? As many of you know, today Federal Reserve Chairperson Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, they spoke, and the committee raised the target range for the federal funds rate by a quarter percentage point, bringing the target range to 4.75 to 5%, citing that the economic indicators came in stronger than expected in both economic activity as well as inflation. So the Fed's goal is to rein in inflation to that 2% rate. And Mr. Powell said he also believes that what's been happening with banks lately will most likely result in tighter credit conditions and economic outcomes. So what this will do to jobs, mortgage interest rates, real estate sales and prices, of course, it's yet to be determined. And as I'm approaching my fourth real estate cycle during an almost 35-year career in this profession, I've learned a few things. Number one is you cannot time this market. I mean, you just can't time it. Secondly, a long-term hold of real estate ownership can make you rich. And lastly, if you buy real estate today, your total house payments, if they're equal to or less than fair market rent prices, then you should be able to calm most any storm, primarily a temporary loss in home values. For example, if you even lost your job, or if you had a job transfer out of the area, or God forbid, some life-changing events took place, I mean, you could temporarily rent the home out until your situation changes more in your favor. And when mortgage interest rates drop in the future, you may be able to refinance to a lower rate. So let's view some of the statistics. All right. So we're learning here that the investors are weighing in more today as the interest rates are actually coming down, thus creating pressure on the inventory and faster appreciation of rates. So it's good to see that if you're a buyer sitting on the sideline waiting for rates to come down, you really might want to think twice, because for every 1% that the interest rates will drop, that means that there's going to be 5 million more buyers that are going to be out there and will be able to qualify and buy a new home. So as we look at this slide here, despite erratic peaks and valleys in interest rates, we saw that buyers were pushing back at interest rates in the 7% range. But since rates have dropped from the peak, we can see that sales are now rapidly picking up. And there's just a little over 400,000 homes for sale in the United States today, and the inventory continues to decline. There are 20% fewer new listings on the market today than this time last year. And Alto's research is predicting that inventory levels are going to remain low throughout the entire year. The median U.S. asking price of homes for sale today is $428,000. Just to give you a perspective, last year's median price was $399,900, or $28,100 less. The U.S. pending sales are down 22% from this time last year, but the sales have increased 9% in the last week. And we see that 30.6% of all U.S. homes have had at least one price reduction, and this is now the fewest number since last July. The top U.S. cities today that are experiencing price reduction, these range from about 39% to 48% of all homes. And right now, as you can see, Phoenix leads the list with the most price reductions. We see that Florida, Texas, Arizona are primarily the top U.S. cities that are receiving the highest amount of reductions in price. And then we see here on the market time, and it's peaked, and it's historically, this is where it'll now decline during the spring selling season. The rents in the United States continue to climb, and they're up to an average of $2,200 per month, or 5% above last year's rental prices. And the February's producer price index has declined once again. And this is the second time now in 3 months that the index of final demand has dropped. So probably be a good idea if we keep a close eye on this index going forward. And as we move into the California real estate market, we can see that existing home sales are down 33.2% year over year. And they're down 39.6% since January of this year. So the median sales price, meaning half of all the homes are above this price and one half of all homes are below this price. In California, it's currently at $735,480. And that's down 4.8% over the last 12 months. Our unsold inventory, by the way, is of homes that's currently at 3.2 months, which is 60% higher than this time last year. And our median days on market is 28 days, which is 211% higher than February of 2023. Now, as we look at this slide here closely, we can see that the California sales are picking up. Even though sales are down 33.2% from this time last year, sales have increased 17.6% in the last 30 days. As we go to our next slide here, due to higher interest rates, affordability is still a factor in California, but as you'll see shortly, the select counties will still fall under the quote-unquote affordable category. And this slide shows that we're now experiencing a rebound in sales in California. The fastest slowdown in sales still lies in the luxury home market. And this graph here shows that sales are improving in all price points except the top end, which is a $2 million plus market. As one would expect, there's a clear correlation between interest rates and the number of sales. And the median price of condominiums has dropped by an average of $25,000 from this time last year. I say this time, we know we're in March now, but this was February statistics here. This data was arrived from the California Association of Realtors that we're looking at right now. And as we look at this next slide here, we can see that the homes are now selling closer to their asking price. Due to a combination of low inventory and a recent drop in interest rates, we're now experiencing a higher sales to list price ratio. And I think this is an interesting number here. We see that over the last month, sellers have negotiated an additional 1.2% of the sales price more to their favor. So it won't be long until we're in multiple offers with these low inventories if history repeats itself. This next graphic shows that we're now seeing more homes selling above the asking price. And California's inventory of homes is declining even further. Actually, the time on market is also declining. In February 22, we had the super hot market where the homes in California were only in the market for 9 days. From that point, we started seeing a ramp up in the days on market, but today it's dropped. In February last month, it's dropped to 28 days in the state of California. Last but not least, we'll review the Orange County real estate market. We see that Orange County as well, it has a severe inventory shortage. It was low last month, but it's now 35% lower today than it was 2 weeks ago. So we see our pending sales are down about 2% over the last 30 days, and our closed volume is down 27.8% from 2 weeks ago. Now, the combined resale houses, condos, and new home sales volume is down 41.1% year over year. This was the California Regional Multiple Listing Service and CoreLogic shared this data with me. We're going to get into some more information now from Reports on Housing by Stephen Thomas. He does a wonderful job with statistics as well as Altos research. We see that the homes pulled off the market. It's a pretty low number in comparison to the history of houses when they come off the market this time of the year. The blue graph on the left-hand side shows where we are today. And then I find this next slide interesting because it's the green portion of this graph shows us the homeowners that actually have equity, if you will. And the orange line signifies short sales. And then the purple graph will show us foreclosure sale. Look at the large gap there between the green line and the orange and purple line at the bottom. The distress sale portion comprises only 0.5% of all listings and only 0.1% of demand. So we're seeing that 95.5% of all sales were performed by traditional sellers who had equity in their homes. So despite the news being spread all over YouTube and the internet about impending foreclosures, I can tell you it is not happening right now in Orange County, California. As we look at the noteworthy news here today, our interest rates are 5 7/8 at one point. That is a conforming interest rate. Loan amount not to exceed 726.2. So if you're going to obtain a loan today for $726,200 or less, and you have a decent FICO score, maybe in the 721 range or higher, you can expect these low rates. Anything above the 726.2 is what we call a jumbo loan, and you're going to see maybe 1/4 to 3/8 of a point higher on the interest rate. The people, I love this slide here because it talks about the best week to actually list your home. I mean, I'm always getting clients to ask me, and people on the streets ask me, when do you think is the best time to put a home on the market? And well, according to realtor.com, they've performed the analytics over the last 4 years, and after carefully examining the market behavior, they claim that April 16th through the 22nd of this year is the absolute best time to list your home. And they've added that home prices during this time are expected to be $8,400 higher than the typical week during the year, and it'll be $48,000 above the early 2023 prices. The further statistics, they claim that there will be 9.3% fewer sellers during this time period than the average week, and there'll be 16.4 more buyers viewing homes during this period. And lastly, your house will sell 18% faster than any other week during the year. So how's that for working the crystal ball? Thank you for joining me this evening as I shared the market statistics with you. If you have any real estate questions, you can feel free to call me at 1-800-440-WADE. That's 1-800-440-9233. And I just want to wish everyone a nice evening. I hope you're staying dry, staying warm, staying in the house, as we got a lot of rain here in Southern California, and it's cold out there. So if you like the material that I shared with you, if you'll do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll get more of this information out to you. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening. Bye for now.